Hey, we're doing a walk through Mardens. Primarily here just for a walk. Here's some plants they're selling. Uh, some good-looking cabbage plants. Uh, it's funny they had caraway here. I've never seen someone selling caraway plants for the caraway seeds. Now these are all kind of in one area because they haven't brought them out in front of the store yet. I kind of walked in as they were opening. So this is mostly an exercise in exercising. Stretching out old back. 83 cents for a little cup of cereal. Ooh, look at this. 33% off the price marked. Some humongous electronic flashes. But at $100, no. Back in the day when I was doing film, photography and stuff, that would have been a stellar thing. Oh, here's the baking supplies. You can see buckets of fondant, Mad Jack coating for fish, deep frying fish, and all kinds of odd little things here. They had recently bought, and you heard me talk about the flour they had. I ended up getting 50 pounds of organic white flour, 25 pounds of rye, and 25 pounds of spelt. Just recently we made a spelt loaf 50-50 whole milk. It's cheaper at the Dollar Tree. That's interesting, by 75 cents. So kind of half white flour, half spelt. And then you can substitute honey instead of the sugar. It retains some antibiotic properties. The honey does even after it's cooked. And the bread won't go moldy as quick if your homemade bread lasts that long. And also you can add the replacement for honey and sugar is 1-to-1. At least that's what I use. And also if you want your bread to retain moisture longer, you put in, for each cup of flour, you put in a teaspoon of dehydrated potato flakes. And that will keep the bread from going stale as quickly. You'll notice in a lot of products they'll say modified starch. Sometimes they say modified potato starch, but basically you're getting the same effect just using the dehydrated potato flakes. Of these spices, I like best, they're $1 or 50 cents, some of them are, but I like the chopped onions, the dehydrated onions. I find that works much better than the powdered onions. Seasoned salt, that's just got all kinds of weird things in it. Yes, I'm officially trying to cut my salt way down now too. Someone gave me a blood pressure unit that hitches to your smartphone and everything. My goodness, we're going to have a review of that coming right up. But the numbers are kind of high, way too high. So even if the thing's reading wrong, I still should have been doing it. I've had high blood pressure for a while. And it's been under control or less under control. 10 ounces of chicken, $1.79. I find that works very well as long as you just rinse it thoroughly before you use it. Here's these kind of bars. They're made with whole grains and they're only 150 calories. Chocolate. They do have some added sugar. But look at all, these are all cans, that was all cans of one flavor of something. I looked at what the flavor was and it didn't appeal to me at all. But they'll just have mountains of stuff. Cashews and mixed nuts. There's a cashews, $12 for the, which is a pretty good price for cashews, I think. All kinds of crazy things. But so we're making up. We've been making rye bread too, and if you want to experiment with these other flours, you can start off by using only 50% of that flour and the rest white flour, and you're going to get loaves that are more similar to what you're used to eating. And then as your skills and your palate changes, you can go more towards having like 100% rye or 100% spelled. You may decide you don't want to go total. Here's these cookies. They're real Maine blueberries, lemon blueberry, 30 calories. I didn't realize till after I bought these that they're also no gluten. Most no gluten things that I've tried, especially that you purchase in a store, are pretty bad. Are not good at all. Here I'm looking at these mixed nuts. These are fairly good as far as the salt. They don't have much salt at all in them, so that's kind of different. They don't specifically say low salt, but they only get like 3% of your salt. Well, this new diet I'm going to do is the DASH diet. So one of the big things you do, this isn't the whole thing, but you always eat under 1,000 milligrams of sodium each day. Excuse me. But there's other things too, obviously. And, smaller portions of meat going towards fish, different things like that. And, of course, less calories, too. Every diet, you want to do that. Although you could do a diet like this without less calories. Oh, goodness, excuse me. All kinds of stuff. Graham cracker crumbs, those look good. Baker's chocolate. And you can see they've got containers here where this is early in the morning, they're still putting stock away. I assume they have a crew that comes in early and does some of the stocking of the shelves. Although that's harder to find people nowadays. We're still in this problem of people aren't returning to work. Oh, let's see. There's a little set here with a ferro rod whistle and a little knife. $7 now. That doesn't ring my chimes, as they say. Oh, that reminds me of a story. I did wedding photography for a while. So this, I'm younger or whatever. And I'm at this table with, where you get to eat and stuff. And there's this woman across from me, quite a bit older than I am. And she's been drinking. And they do this thing where they, you hit the glass with your fork. And everybody does it at once. And the bride and groom have to kiss. And so after that, she looks over at me and she says, "I'd like to ring your chimes." And I said, "I have to get up and go take some pictures." I'm just caught totally off guard by it. It was like, no, I don't let people as old as my mother ring my chimes. No, sorry. Happily married, 6 kids. What are you talking about, lady? Probably didn't have 6 kids right then, but yeah, I did. I think I did. I kind of lost count, but I did at least 80 weddings. All of them virtually with film. And actually, the ones I did with digital later on, I just didn't like the results as much. I'm not saying you can't get good results, but I had a lot of film equipment, a lot of powerful flashes, and all these different things. And so, years later, going to a digital camera and not having as much equipment with it. Look at these shovels. You saw normal shovels there. What are these shovels? These long, narrow things. I have got no idea what they are, what they're for. Huh. Unless they're for planting? I don't know. But they had several different styles of shovels, but that was the oddest. I mean, the ones with flat edges, they're for picking up, like not for digging, but for primarily transferring things and stuff like this. I'm gonna get some. I want to get some gloves that are cut resistant. But these aren't. Yeah, I want to fool more with making things, doing some whittling or something like that, and trying my best not to cut myself. I was surprised that I started watching this guy that does whittling, and he's always got, he wears the gloves, or he has his hands wrapped up in the most obvious places where, you know, the knife might go if it was to hit your hand or something like that, and makes a lot of sense to me. And especially when people think about bushcraft and survival and all that stuff, you could just imagine if you're out and one of the first things you do while you're trying to process wood or something is you cut yourself and you have a major bleeding problem. That's why things like quick clot are such a good idea to have. If you've got a knife, you're going to cut yourself eventually, you might as well be prepared for it. Even on Alone, one of the seasons we were watching Alone, and this person was hurrying to get their shelter done. Well, they were kind of hurrying back and forth between an area, and they were carrying the axe without the guard on it. So you're there thinking, no, put the guard on, put the guard on. Sure enough, the person slipped, hurt themselves on the axe, and had to go out of the competition. But it's so easy to see that at home. We're sitting here, well fed, warm, and quite a different thing to be stressed out, to be in a real situation, even though they can get out of it. You know what I mean? So we don't want to dump on people too much like that, because we might go there and do things that are even worse. And we would say, oh, no, I'd never do that. My daughters started to watch Alone, and I think she did season 1 and season 2. It's funny, she liked this one guy on season 1, and that was the guy that won. She was asking me something about the show, but I was careful not to. I kind of led her in the wrong direction, even so she wouldn't think he won. But then on the second show, someone right off loses their ferro rod, and she couldn't believe someone did that. But mistakes can happen. And it's like when you're dealing with things that are really important, real mistakes have real consequences. And he wasn't that familiar with friction fire. Now, his YouTube channel he did before, but now he's an expert at friction fire. I'll tell you, he could do that almost with his eyes closed after that. So here we are, we're kind of in the checkout aisle. We're looking at some of these impulse items they're trying to get us to look at, to buy. I'm going to impulse a bottle of water here. That's about all I'm getting on the impulse aisle. Batteries. And so, there we go. Oh, I didn't notice whoopie pies. They always have whoopie pies here for $1. They've gotten smaller, but to be able to still sell at the price point. Maybe that wasn't $1, but it was a low price anyway. $1.50, I don't know what it was. But, so here we are. We're going out the door in a minute. Hope you enjoyed my little walk, and now we'll go to the car and we'll do some authentic taste testing of kind, healthy grain bars, chewy with a crunch. And we'll be doing lemon blueberry, Maine blueberries, twice baked cookies. It's kind of like a biscotti type thing. Nut-free, dairy-free, and gluten-free. But, that's the best taste of any of those products I've tried before. Usually they're kind of bad. Okay, got a couple of things in there. Mardens, kind, healthy grains, chewy with a crunch. This looks like it has some peanuts, whole grains and some chocolate, dark chocolate. 100% whole grains, 19 grams per serving. That's of whole grains, not fiber. It has only 2 grams of fiber. It's got 8 grams of added sugar, 2 grams protein. 1 bar is 150 calories. So we're going to try one out. Oh, they're individually wrapped. Gluten-free. I love gluten, but so it's a typical, compressed kind of. It tastes very good. It's one of these typical things that's kind of compressed together, so it's kind of crumbly when you try to eat it, when you break it. These are nice. They're very sweet. Wonder what the sugar is that they add. Okay, I'm gonna do the deep dive into the ingredients. Oats, cane sugar, semi-sweet chocolate, chocolate liquor, cocoa butter, soy lecithin, vanilla extract, canola oil, tapioca syrup, brown rice, millet, honey, coconuts, buckwheat, aramith. It goes on and on. Contains coconut and soy. May contain peanuts, tree seeds, and sesame seeds. Maybe the things I think are peanuts aren't. There's some other nut. They're kind of small, so they're probably not peanuts. I got these primarily based on the label on the back. 3.5 cookies is 100 calories. 0 sodium. No dietary fiber. 8 grams of added sugar. 2 grams of protein. It has unbleached flour. Canola oil. Dried Maine blueberries. And it's funny how they say that, then they're saying, well, that has cane sugar and all these other things that the Maine blueberries do. So this is contains egg and wheat, aluminum free, gluten free, and nut free. Wonder if it's taste free. But it's only 30 calories per cookie. I didn't actually notice it was gluten free. I'm not worried about gluten. But so they're a little, oh wow, do they smell like blueberries? They're a little, like biscotti type thing. Nice. They taste nice. Now, if you could get away with eating one of those bars and 2 of these, you're only at 220 calories. Not bad. Now we'll see if I can do it or not.